Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hot Topics, the show, the podcast. This is Gloria Goldberg, the founder and the host of The Unbreakable Life with Glory. That is my podcast. And next to me, I have my coach, successful Kia Baker.
Hey, you guys. It's Kia Baker, the host and founder of the Female Veterans Podcast and Women Warrior Stories for the Veterans Channel. And of course, my favorite of all is Success Coach at London Real Academy, where I have the distinct pleasure of connecting with amazing entrepreneurs and broadcasters from all over the world. And a lot of times I get to bring them here to share their knowledge with us and all of you. So Gloria, where are you at now? You look really warm.
Right now, right now I'm in the car because in the cabin that I'm staying is very bad reception, so I didn't have the good reception to have this show today, and because Hot Topics doesn't stop, so even we have to claim to a mountain to find the reception for the show. We do it.
That's right. We do what we have to do. I mean, if we're not coming on here, it's because something went down, right?
Yes,
Because
yes,
something went down already.
yes,
So,
yes.
there's some reason. Oh my gosh, look at this. We have one of my favorite people watching tonight.
Oh,
Hey, Jay.
hey
Aw,
Jay, how are
thanks for
you?
tuning in, honey. I appreciate you. Look, she says that she loves your jacket.
Ah, thank you. It's a free people jacket.
Yeah, it looks warm. I was just saying before we went live that I felt like snuggling with you in that,
Yeah,
in
it's
that
very
jacket.
warm.
It
It's
looks
very
cuddly.
warm.
It makes me think of a teddy bear.
So Kia, you know what I realized? Like every time we start a show, because we never prepare the shows and anything because we do the shows organic. Every
Mhm.
time, like in my case, when I present the show, I present it all the time in a different way, and everything is correlated of the emotions of the way we feel or I feel in the moment. And sometimes, like we are very loose, and sometimes we are not that loose. So it was it's kind of very interesting because every time we do the show, I go and watch the replay because I like to see to be better, and I see that every time I start the show a little bit different, and sometimes it's like a wonderful, and sometimes it's like a blah. But I understand it's because life is like that. Some days are very good, some days are not very good.
Yeah, that's life. And, we're just doing our thing. We come on
Yeah,
here, right, to just provide value, to give somebody some information maybe they didn't have before, and
right.
to, hang out. And whoever turns up live with us, they get to see it live and hang out with us. If they catch the replay, then they get to see our crazy antics
Right.
and get an introduction to incredible guests and what they are about and what they can share with the global community, because Hot Topics Live is a global show, and
Right.
share that value with everybody. And like you always say, and we hope that it will make them feel better.
Exactly. And you know what? The point is like we are showing real, like a real, realistic. We don't prepare the shows. We just come like raw the way it is. And because I think I feel that we are a little bit different in that way because a lot of shows they are already produced, prepared. You have to write, you have to read, and the good thing about our show that you and me we talk about very cool subjects, but it's in a natural way, in a
Yeah,
natural and realistic
authentic.
way,
Well,
authentic.
Well, I mean, first of all, the truth is, we are both graduates from London Real Academy. And
Yes.
what we teach at London Real Academy is authenticity. and being who you are and connecting with people in a genuine way. And that's what our goal is. Every time we come live, we live stream because we want to connect with people. We want to
Exactly.
provide value, and we are going to be who we are. And whatever comes out, comes out. Like whatever's meant to be will be. That's just the way we believe. And so we go with the flow. And if you feel that vibe, you're part of our tribe. And I said tribe, Jay, because she is a mogul of Thrive Tribe. She will be a guest at some point in the future, but
That's
it will learn
awesome.
all about thriving with her tribe. But tribes are important. We're a tribal culture, really. And you connect
Yes.
with who you connect with. If you feel my energy and it resonates with you, by all means, connect with me. I'm about that, right? That
Yeah.
means you're on the
Yes.
frequency of love if you're connecting to my energy. So that's one of the highest, if not the highest, side of gratitude on a vibrational frequency there is. So if you're vibing with me, then you're all love, and I love that. How about you, Gloria?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I also said that in my social media. If you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, don't even waste your time putting a negative comment, because I don't give energy to that. But I'm lucky enough that I don't have those bad messages to me, because I talk about life. I talk about real. I talk about my life. I don't talk about other people's life. And that's why people feel connected, because it's easy to say things about people, right? It's so easy to criticize people. It's so easy to judge people, that it's so difficult to judge ourselves. It's so difficult to talk about ourselves. And it's so difficult and mystic just to open and say, hey, I have this, I'm going through this. What about you? And people is like, oh no, what they gonna say about me? Oh no, what they gonna say about, I'm not into that. So I think people get connected with us because we are unique. We when we do the shows, we do it like this way,
No, that's right.
like raw.
That's right. And there's lots of live streams out there. I mean, we're
Yes,
certainly not the first. We'll certainly won't be the last, but this is
right.
our vibe. And if you're feeling it, you're welcome here. And we want to hear from you. We appreciate all the comments that we get. We appreciate all the messages that we get in our private message for Hot Topics Live. Respond to them all as long as they're appropriate. And we love to share love and vibe with everybody and share amazing, amazing information. So,
Yes.
speaking of sharing
Uh-huh.
amazing, amazing information, oh, Jay, I appreciate you so much. Well, we
Yes.
have a guest, and she is incredible. Okay. She is one of my former students, and this particular group of students was from my business accelerator and for London Real. And she created something really amazing during this time. And as I watched it develop, because one of my favorite things is to help people, develop their concepts and also in their broadcast as well, show creation. But for our guest tonight, I watched her develop this concept, and I knew as it was unfolding that she would be coming on the show to share this, because I knew it was something that the whole world needed to have. So it's
Yes.
amazing to have the privilege to see these things really grow and come to life and get to say, wow, I bet the whole world could appreciate this and really benefit from this, right? So I can't wait
Right.
for you to meet her.
Yeah.
Okay, her name is Angela Leeds. She's from the East Coast like you, but she's a Jersey girl. And
Right.
I'm from Philly too, so not too far away. And I am going to read her bio because this girl, let me tell you what, she has done a lot of stuff. She's got a
Wow.
lot of skills. She's got a lot. So normally I like to do just like a little introduction and introduce people, but this one I'm going to read. But before I do,
Yeah.
I want to say that if you are not 18 years old, you need to click off of here right now. Sometimes we say inappropriate things, okay? We don't know what we're going to say, it just comes out.
Exactly.
So if you are not 18, please don't watch this. It's just not always appropriate. And the views and opinions of our guests do not always reflect our own, but we do agree with their right to express them. So they're always welcome here. And with that being
Exactly.
said, let me introduce you to Angela.
Yes.
Angela, she's a specialist in high performance and empowerment, body, mind, and spirit. Okay. And she's a former competitive athlete, which we're going to talk about later. And she spent over 40 years exploring consciousness, mindset, metaphysics, meditation, biohacking, critical thinking, and how to own your own mind for real, true empowerment.
Oh my
Now,
God.
she also has worked in coaching for a very, very long time. She's a graduate of a very prestigious coaching school called the Barefoot Coaching Program in London, in the UK.
Wow.
She's a certified member of the International Coaching Federation. She's tons of certifications. We're just not going to get into all of those because it's
We,
just it's too much.
we need to show to just introduce her.
I know. I need another hour. I need another hour. But she spent also 20 years in corporate America working in so many different industries
Wow.
like IT solutions, technology, enterprise agile consulting, professional coaching. Oh God, she was a regulatory specialist. I mean, look, you're starting to get the picture that she's done a lot of shit, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, really, she's done so many things. It's ridiculous. And so, what she's going to introduce us to tonight is something that we're going to get to learn. Hopefully, she'll teach it to us a little bit while we're on here without giving away the farm, which is my motto always
Right.
at BA. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on Angela and let's ask her some questions. Why don't we?
Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. Hello. Thank you so much. What an introduction.
Hi, honey.
That is just crazy. Beautiful. How are you? Oh
Hi,
my goodness.
Angeline.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Angela. How are you?
Oh, just wonderful. It's a delight to meet you.
Well, we are very happy to have you in Hot Topics today. And with all that experience that you have, it's like we want to pick up your brain today.
I am just so happy to be here. I'm relaxed. I'm an open book. Wherever you want to go with this, I'm there.
So, Angela, so before we start with the conversation, tell a little bit about you. Who are you? I know Kia already introduced you, but who are you?
That's a good question. So, I think Kia went into a really great direction in that there's kind of a lot going on under the hood. And, it's kind of hard to sum up. But I will start by saying that I am a longtime single mom, which is a very primal, personal self-identification. I've been a single mother for almost 30 years, actually. So I have two sons. They're grown. They're 30 and 32. And I, raised them as a single parent for 3 decades. So that is one thing that I am.
Powerful.
Wow, congratulations.
Let's add that to the list. Powerful. I'm a sole parent of 2 boys myself. So I completely understand how much that takes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was single mother too in one time of my life, and I know what is that too.
Yeah. So it's always a juggle, right? And you're generally your needs are a little bit down the chain, but they're grown now. So I'm in a different phase, or I'm creating a new phase in my life. I'm also a paradox. So I am absolutely a paradox. One of my sayings is straddle the paradox. You can see from the kind of the list of some of my interests that started very, very young. I was in grade school. I was, by 9 years old, I was on that path to kind of explore consciousness and metaphysical things and just things that people normally don't really get to until much later in their life. But I've been a student I'm a passionate student. I've always been a passionate student, an independent learner, a power learner. And I found my way in the corporate world. So, that's not the place where you typically talk about consciousness and metaphysics and biohacking and things like that. So I'm comfortable straddling the paradox, let's say, a lot of paradoxes. So I'm a paradox straddler. I'm a mother. I'm a coach. I'm a coach. But at the bottom of it, I really am about empowerment. So I just rolled out a rebranding of my website today because I was able to finally clarify what my message is. Because I think Kia could understand that as I started a few months ago with the Business Accelerator program, I thought, how am I going to narrow this down? I mean, what am I going to start with? And that whole process that you go through, it helps you clarify what's your purpose, what's your mission, what are you bringing to the table, what are you bringing to the world, and it really is about empowerment. And I'll say that it isn't empowerment as a as a nice idea. It's that my life has been, I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of unusual experiences in my life where I was very disempowered. So because I went through many experiences of being disempowered and having to figure out, how do I get out of this? How do I lift myself up by my bootstraps? Or how do I get through this? Or how do I transform? How do I evolve? Whatever. That's kind of how I've earned my stripes. So it's something that's really real life experience. And so what's interesting is that when I was preparing to launch a business and launch myself in a new way and provide a new kind of value, a breathing technique was not my first. It was not at the top of my head. I had all these other things that I know about and that I've done and that I could offer, but somehow, things just come together as they're supposed to. And it started to be with the mask wearing, the massive widespread mask wearing. And that, and I have worked with the breath for decades. And I have worked with a particular special set of breathing techniques for about over 12 years. And so by seeing people wearing these masks, I just thought, this is just, the breath is more than just something you don't think about that gets done. It is your most primal possession.
Yes.
There's nothing that's more important than that. We just don't think about it. We take it for granted, right?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, can I just say, to add to that? Can I just add to that? Okay, I gotta take a breath just then.
Yes.
All right. On the West Coast, those of us that live on the West Coast and these fires, and I know that I am actually fortunate because where I am, it's cleared up. But there was like a week, and I mean, in California, it's been like months, by the way, months, where you couldn't go outside.
Mm-mm.
You couldn't breathe if you went outside. So it's just, it makes it really brought into the present, like really in your consciousness. You're very aware of how important your breath is until you realize that if I open my window, my air will become toxic. Right?
Yes.
Sorry, go on. I just was
No. It's true. I have a very, very good friend, an old friend of mine who lives in California right now, and she wanted to take some of my live master classes on my breathing technique, and she just couldn't. She said, I can't. It's not safe. It's not safe until things settle down. So think on it. We have the masks. We have the George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd. Mm-hmm.
Right? With hashtag I can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We have the fires. We have this theme, this trend of restriction of the breath, and it's just endemic. It's global, right? And that just really has weighed heavily on me, and that's really the genesis of why I just thought I think it's what pulled the push breathing out that I'm teaching now at this time. It is something that I have worked with for 12 years, and it is very rare and very special, but it seems Well, as I tell you a little bit more about it, it feels like, I don't mean to be over dramatic, but it has felt a bit like destiny, because this is something different. This isn't, nobody else is teaching this. I mean, I've been, like a high performance junkie for most of my adult life, and I've done probably every kind of breathing technique that's out there. And I've never encountered anybody that teaches this except the person that I learned it from over 12 years ago. And so it is unusual. It really is different. It really is empowering. It really is special. And there's nobody left teaching this, because the person I learned it from was an older person who passed away. And this technique was just sort of living kind of like hidden in this tiny little ultra elite athlete community, for the last couple decades, and nobody's bringing it out. They want to kind of keep it secret. So either somebody brings this out and teaches it to the everyday person and helps them understand what they can do with this and how powerful it is, because it is so primally empowering. That is really the thing. It has a lot of different benefits. I've broken it down to, I think I'm up to 9 different use cases, but it is so primally empowering, and what an interesting time to be focused on bringing it out. So I'm very focused on this. I really do want to create a movement, a push breathing movement. And I just feel really passionate that this can change a lot of people's lives in a number of different ways.
So this breathing technique will help a lot of different stuff, different problems like depression, anxiety,
Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, I can tell you. So I learned about it in the context of athletic performance. So it was over 12 years ago. I was a very, very serious, hardcore competitive ballroom dancer. And people don't really think of as ballroom dancers as being really very athletic, but in fact, they're right up there with martial artists and ballet dancers for the level of power and endurance and fitness that they require, because they're doing all of this, they're kind of pushing the limits of what the human body can do, and they have to, never let them see you sweat, is kind of the overarching rule. So you have to look very graceful while you're doing it. So anyway, I was an older dancer. I'm 56 right now, and I was 44, and I was trying to level up in a huge way within a very short period of time. Within one year, I wanted to go from a kind of like an average beginner level to absolutely competitive in my age range and in my division, and I did achieve that within that year. It was really just a banner year. I'll never forget 2008. But halfway through, I hit such a wall. My endurance just tanked. I was struggling so hard to get my breath. And I had befriended she was a world-class ballroom coach. To this day, she's at the top of her game, coaching some of the most amazing professional ballroom dancers in the world. And she was just my friend. She wasn't my coach. And I told her, I said, I'm really struggling. And she told me about a book that she had heard of. And I don't even think she had read the book, but she had heard about it. And it was out of print. It was from the 1980s. And it was called The Breath Play Approach to Whole Life Fitness. And I went and I found this book. It was very expensive. It's still available, but it's been long out of print. And I read the book and it blew my mind. And to this day, it is still in like a top 10 book in my, I've read thousands of books, but this is a top 10 nonfiction, and the Bible that is in there as well. Like this is an amazing, very simple, but amazing paradigm shifting book. And I ended up being so blown away, I reached out to the author, and his name was Ian Jackson. And he was another world-class coach, but he was an athletic coach, and he worked with like elite athletes, Olympic level athletes. And at the time he had landed in the ultra cycling community. And those are those crazy guys who race their bikes through the mountains of Europe and Hawaii and Lord knows where else. And this is what he was doing. And he had discovered these certain principles about how to work with the breath again, years ago, like decades ago, and he had been trying to get this out, and the mainstream was completely not interested because he was a bit esoteric. He called us both exotics, right? We connected. We became very good friends. He became my breathing coach, but we became very good friends because we connected at this kind of esoteric level. And he wasn't able to really translate these techniques for the everyday person. So he was coaching these rarefied athletes, and he was trying to bring these these techniques into the Olympic training community. And he just got stiff armed because the stories that he told were always that once the athletes got a hold of these techniques, they so radically upped their game and increased their competitive edge, like between 20, 25, 30%, that they didn't want to share the secret. I mean, who could blame him, right? Who
Wow.
could blame him, right? So he had kind of given up in a sense. Like, he was coaching the people that wanted to be coached, and he was fascinated with what I was trying to do with it because he'd never coached a dancer before. Um, and that's how I came to it. So that was through increasing athletic performance. And literally the day after I had my first coaching session with him, I won my first place elite level competition the very next day. And it's not to say that it was like a magic pill and I was like, oh, that's like superhuman. It wasn't like that. I struggled the rest of the year. But I did become competitive at that elite level, and consistently from that point forward. 2 weeks later, I almost won in my division, which was very, very crowded at the Manhattan Dance Sport Championships. And it just was an amazing year. So that's how I started. And he and I would talk a lot about the nature of the breath and how it was sort of like the gateway to consciousness. We would kind of talk about that type of a thing. And eventually, I mean, really within a couple of years after that, 2.5 years, he passed away. And it was a very, very sad thing. But I will tell you that learning about these techniques changed my life because I have used them almost on a daily basis for over 12 years. And I've taken it to the next level. There's a bit of a pedagogical lineage happening here, right? Where he was the master, hands down, but he passed his baton down to me. And I was aware of it, but I mean, I just was taking it in my own life and trying to squeeze whatever I could out of these techniques. And what I discovered were things that he and I never talked about. So, for example, you can use this special breathing technique to literally just burn away anxiety and stress. And so you can use the general techniques, but then I've also created some very specific techniques where you can triage it. You can really, really, really tackle something if you feel panicked or stressed or whatever that is. So it's great for anxiety and stress. It completely supercharges your energy, completely supercharges you. You can just become like a dynamo. And you can, yes, Gloria, you asked about some difficult emotions like depression, sadness, despair, grief. You can really use this technique to help yourself move through these difficult emotions because it evokes your will and it floods you with this life affirming life force, which uplifts your spirit and can give you heart again. So it's great for clarity. If you're overwhelmed, if you're frazzled, if you've got brain fog, if you need to supercharge your metabolism, it's great for meditation. Anybody that has a meditation practice, which I have on and off throughout my life for a very long time, if you want to go deep in meditation, do a very intense push breathing session. And when your energy comes down, you're going to go deeper than you ever have.
Wow.
I'll take a breath for a minute and let you digest some of it.
That's amazing. That is a lot. Gloria, what do you think?
Yeah, I had a question for that. Okay, so a person go with you and you start coaching that person. I know every single body is different. How a normal body, let's see, a normal
Yeah.
body would take with your breathing techniques to get like a shift. I know it takes a process, it takes a time, but when a person can get a shift with your techniques?
So I think it's right away. I think it's right away. I really do. And it's for anybody, right? So as I said, this is not just for athletes. This is for this is for the elderly, people who are ill, people who are fragile. Ian Jackson, the coach who discovered some of these principles, he was working with healthcare professionals who were working with paraplegics, quadriplegics. So people who are bedridden, people who are wheelchair bound. This is for children. This is for anybody. And so it's basically a way of working with the breath. I'll put it really, really succinctly so that you can begin to wrap your mind around what this thing is. It's basically like this. The way we all breathe is that we are breath suckers. We suck in air, right? If I am gonna, like, normally our body just takes care of our breathing and we don't have to think about it. But when you think about your breathing, what do? You breathe in air, right? So now take in a big breath and then try to get in more oxygen. Just try. See what happens. Like, there's nowhere you can go. Like,
Right.
you've maxed out, right? And that's one of
Right.
the things where I forgot to say, there's a lot that could help people who have panic attacks and asthma attacks, right? It's because you get up to that and then you can't get in any more air. You're stuck. So push breathing, instead of sucking in air, instead of being active on the in breath, you flip it around and you become active on the out breath. And your focus becomes pushing all your air out. So you focus on pushing everything out, and then you relax and let your body take in what it needs. You really don't have to think about getting air in so much. It's all about how deep can you go. And one of the things that I teach is something called creating the V, which is basically, the way we breathe is like from our diaphragm up, right from your sternum up, and that's it. You could feel right there, you can't get any more air. But when you create a V, and it goes all the way down to your groin, all the way down from your diaphragm, down the sides of your waist, down your hips, your abs, your butt, your upper thighs to your groin. And you create this tight V, and you hug everything close. And when you're pushing everything out, you try to get everything as small as you can. And then you relax. You just soften and relax your belly, which we don't normally do. We're always sucking in our gut, right? So you got to relax your belly. Yep, there she goes. You just let your body take in what it needs, and you don't have to think about it. And it's really weird. It's really weird because it feels like your whole body becomes a lung. When you do this, you can just take in so much. It's like you don't have to think about it. It's really remarkable. So. And then there's also a way to coordinate movement with your breath. There's a way to do switch side breathing, I call it. There's gears that I call them. And there's a way to create a different type of a rhythm of counting out breaths versus in breaths that we're not used to. And that can also become very meditative and trance-like. And those are basically the three techniques. Those are the three basic techniques. I have a whole shitload of tips and tricks and strategies and everything, but it really gets down to these three basic things. Turning your breath upside down, creating the V. Yep, it is. It's like breathing through every pore in your body. I even call, like, one of my techniques is called butt lungs. It's like you think of like how tight can you squeeze your butt? Squeeze it so tight. My ballroom dancing instructor used to say, squeeze your butt so hard you can create diamonds. He was from Slovakia. And so it's like, because the tinier you can squeeze your hips and your butt and your groin, and just boom, then when you relax, somehow the breath just comes in. And people don't realize how powerful this is, but it really, really is.
So it's about
Wow.
squeezing everything as low as you can, really, really tight on the out breath, and pushing it out.
And then, yes.
And then the breath
And
comes in automatically.
and then you just relax. You have to completely relax. So basically what happens is you become like a bellows, like when you're making a wooden fire, and it has that butt lungs. I'm way too visual. That's cute. Like, a bellows, and it has that channel, that pipe, and it drives air into the embers to kind of wake them up. That is literally what you're becoming, because you're getting tiny, 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 and then you relax and your middle expands, and you have to do this. And there's a rhythm to it, and I teach you how to do this, because you aren't going to spend a lot of time getting in your active, you're in. You just then go right back. And what it is, it's like you're the bellows and you're the embers. So the more complete and powerful and deep you can go on the out, it awakens those embers. Like, it's like that, those embers are that's your vitality, that's your energy, that's your creativity, that's your will, that's your health, that's your vital health. And you don't think about it. You don't think about it. And then you create this heat. So, I mean, really within 5 minutes, you're sweating to beat the band, and you look like you've been in hot yoga, and you've created this hot yoga inside of you.
Wow.
And you're
This is
burning up
awesome.
your stress, and you're burning up your anxiety. You're detoxing a lot of shit. I find, like, I mean, I'm 55 years old. I think my skin looks pretty
Yeah,
nice,
you look
right?
great.
Girl.
You look
I'm not
great.
wearing makeup other than some, eye stuff and lipstick. And it's like, I think it's
Yeah,
because it burns things up. It keeps you running clean, right? I haven't worn deodorant in probably 20 years, and I just don't smell. So it's like,
me too.
you keep it clean. You burn things up. You burn up your emotions. And, it's not like I just wake up and let it burn, baby. Yeah, exactly. I have to use this. It's a daily tool. I have to use it because I work full time. I'm a householder. I'm trying to launch a business. I'm, like, super busy, and I have to use this thing to keep myself full throttle. Because I hit the wall on a regular basis. And my thought is, if I'm not hitting the wall, I'm probably not living my life properly. So you want to hit the wall, and then you want to have a tool. Oh, Jay, she's so cute. You want to have a tool, that you can use to modulate yourself and change your state, change your mental state, change your emotional state, change your physical state, change your spiritual state. So
Yeah.
it hits all the notes. And so I feel like this is the most primal thing, and I'm just really delighted that this is where I'm starting. It's square one for me and with my business, and I'm really I'm gonna stay on this until it becomes like a wave, a movement that can move on its own. Because if I don't, this thing is gonna die, and then who's gonna be teaching it? No, there's nobody on the planet doing this. It is that unique.
So you
So
need to create more teachers under you,
yes,
like an academy. So
ex-
the secret doesn't don't disappear forever.
you are
That's very important.
you are spot on, Gloria. And I've already been telling people. I've given 10 live masterclasses, and I've had so much interest from all over the world, and I realize I cannot keep that up. I can't do
Mm.
5 or 6 live masterclasses for 4 or 5 time zones every single week. So as of today, just today, I took my last masterclass, which was very nice. I really liked it, and it's out. You can go to my website, you can put your email in, and it's going to come to your inbox in 1 minute, and you can just go and take this class. It's 35 minutes, and I teach you those 3 techniques, and it's not theoretical. I mean, I have you standing up, and have you standing up, and I take you through it, so that then you can you can have an experience with it and do something with it. And then I've also created a program. I don't know where we are on time. If
No, keep going. We're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are good.
Okay, good.
We'll let you know.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I've created a program. I've created a 35 minutes is not enough time to really kind of like do a brain dump and put everything in there that I know. But I have created a program. It's a 6-module video series, and it includes, and so I can go into each of these things in greater detail. I have a whole module where I don't even know where it's going to end at this point. I'm just putting every single technique and strategy that I know about. I'm putting it in there. I'm also teaching something on endurance, which is something I was a sprinter. Years ago, I was a track and field athlete. I was a sprinter and a hurdler. And I just never got into endurance because I figured I'm not a long distance runner. What do I need endurance for? Well, that's why I had such trouble when I was dancing competitively. But it turns out endurance is for everybody because it is your capacity for oxygen. It's your capacity for your life force. It's your capacity for vitality and for health. So I do a whole module on endurance, and it's a pairing of the push breathing, where I learned a lot of those core elements from Ian Jackson, and also paired with endurance concepts from a guy that I didn't know while Ian was alive. I didn't know that this guy, he was a German doctor and a runner in the 50s. He was a personal mentor of Ian Jackson's. I didn't know. I didn't realize.
Wow.
So now, so I made a study of this guy's book. It's like even way old. It's even older. It's like a decade or more older than Ian Jackson's book. So it's from the 70s. Right. And so I'm pairing these two. So we have a real pedagogical lineage here. We've got a guy from the 50s who then pioneered, shit in the 70s and wrote a book in the 80s. And these guys have passed away. And now I'm pulling them together. And in my 5th module in my program, I teach this for everybody. And then I have in my last module, I go into there's 9 different use cases I've identified, and I break them into specifically what you can do for each of them, how you can triage. Like if you get panic attacks and asthma attacks, your butt lungs, oh my God, that's hysterical. State change starts with butt lungs. I love it. Butt lungs, yeah. So I go into exactly what to do. And then I love it. I'm creating 3 audio coaching MP3s. So Ian had created these acoustic coaching CDs back in the day, and you couldn't even buy them unless you spoke with him, because he had done many things in his life. This guy was amazing. He was at the leading edge of so many different waves in his life. He was at the leading edge of longboard surfing, and then he was a leading edge at the running craze in the 70s, and then yoga, and then he got into this ultra cycling. But the thing he was most proud of was breathing techniques, which he called breath play. So so he had created these CDs, which very few people ever got.
Wow.
And so I'm creating, in that spirit, I'm creating these acoustic, these audio coaching, where you have like a 1 hour loop, a 1 hour, it's not a loop, but you have like a 1 hour of music. And then there's a verbal track, a coaching track, where you can hear the rhythm of the breath, and you can hear me in the back, telling you, draw your navel to the back, stretch your spine long, squeeze your butt lungs, whatever it is, right?
Squeeze those butt lungs.
Right. So that's part of the 6 module training program, and then there's a 3 curated Spotify playlists, and then there's live group coaching. So it's as long as I give weekly live group coaching, breath is the antidote to fear. That's all included. So that's what I'm focused on really rolling out. I'm super excited about it.
So Angela, when we do this kind of light work, when we help other people, we connect with the people that are in our vibration, right?
Yes.
What kind of people comes to you? What kind of problems the people comes to you to help them to resolve?
That's a good question. So there's a bit of a paradox there, because I work in one of the largest banks in the world in my day job, and that's a very mainstream place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but in my private life, and as far as what I really have to offer, the best that I have to offer is people that are not necessarily mainstream. Maybe they came from mainstream, but they have deviated. They've evolved to a place where maybe mainstream doesn't really understand them, because they want to be the best that they can be. They want freedom. They want fulfillment. They have maybe questioned a lot of the assumptions in their lives. Maybe they've questioned their politics or their religion or their whatever it is. I am that unusual person that is truly non-partisan. I don't have an ism. There isn't. I've traveled through many of them, but I don't have that. I'm outside. I've extricated myself from all of those things. So that makes me an ideal coach for somebody who is in that place or is trying to be in that place as well, because I can understand that journey, right? As opposed to,
Right.
I have been traditional, right? I mean, I grew up in a very traditional home, traditional religion, all that type of stuff, but I'm completely outside of it and I don't really have an agenda. So other than to empower. So that is a good summary of who I can really minister to. That would be like my micro niche. The people that are
Right.
they're after truth, they're after freedom, they're asking questions that maybe other people find threatening or uncomfortable. There is very little that can shock me or make me uncomfortable. So and people who've actually been through very shocking and difficult life paths. I've had a very difficult life path. We haven't touched on that, but it's one of the things where I thought maybe I would start with that, but no, we're not starting with that. But anybody who has really gone to the limit. I mean, we're talking people that have experienced all manner of abuse and tragedy and dysfunction. I'm very comfortable with that. I've been around a lot of that, and I can support them. So
And it's very hard. It's very hard when you have a trauma, because I do have a trauma, big trauma.
mhm.
And it's hard because it comes and goes, comes and goes.
Yep.
And it's you always, in my case, I always looking for the solution about my emotions, because sometimes my emotions get very rattled.
Yes.
And I'm conscious of what is going on, and I know what's going on, but sometimes it's like out of control. You cannot like
Mhm.
you cannot like, you need to be focused. So a
Mhm.
lot of people that they don't know the knowledge, or they don't know how to control that, they're like this, they don't know what to do. And
Yeah.
the breathing technique is very important, and I been listening to a lot of breathing techniques, but the technique that you're talking right now is very new for me, and I'm very interested to know that and to
Mhm.
do that, because I really need it, because I get sometimes, like you said, I breathe from my chest up, and
Yeah.
when you don't give a lot of oxygen to your brain, then is when you get anxious, and then you start thinking a lot of stuff, and then you
Yeah.
start breathing like this, and or with your
Yeah.
mouth open,
Yeah.
and you are like, you're not conscious of what you're doing, and then when you stop and conscious and say, oh, let me breathe, then
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, I forgot to breathe, and it's because you
Yeah.
just, your unconscious mind is breathing for you.
Exactly. I mean, I think of the greater part of my early life. I forgot to breathe all the time, you know.
Yes.
And and as far as trauma, I mean, I've known some real trauma. I've been to the depths of the depths of the depths, you know. The things that, I mean, there have been moments. I mean, I'm going back a couple decades, but you know, where I just remember, okay, so this is where people kill themselves. This is where people kill their family and then
Mm,
themselves. You know, this is
mm,
that desperation and that darkness. And I just didn't have a belief system that would, you know, permit that type of a thing. But I mean, I have a life full of just bizarre stories. It's rich with really
mm,
extraordinary stories. And 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 as I said at the beginning of our chat, I'm all about empowerment, and the reason I'm about empowerment is because in my life I have been so disempowered in so many different ways, and learned, was challenged. How do I lift myself up out of this? How do I get out of it? I've been abjectly poor. I know what it is to be hungry. You know, there's not a lot of Americans that really have that, but I know what it is to have nothing, you know. I know it.
Three of us have been there, right?
Right.
yes.
All three
I
of us
know.
have that in common with knowing what it's like to be disempowered and therefore wanting to empower others. Is why we all do what we do.
It's a gift. I mean, I think of these experiences that I've had. Every one of them was the making of me. Every single one of them was the making of me, and I feel that this is the moment where I always felt that it had to be for a purpose. It couldn't just be for me.
Of
So,
course.
right? So that is really where my mind is. I wake up every day and I'm thinking, okay, how can I take this and share it in a way that's empowering to others? But a lot of it is also, how can I take these things and just focus on something and distill it in a simple way that is digestible? Because it doesn't do anybody any good if I stay at an esoteric, rarefied level, right? It's about
Right.
taking something powerful and breaking it down and sharing it in a way that people can relate to and they can digest. And that's really what I've done with this push breathing. And this is something that I know that Ian Jackson wasn't able to do. He hadn't, he was intuiting and doing this rare thing, but he hadn't yet figured that out. And so the baton has passed, and that's really what I'm doing with this. So
Yeah, and for all of us that we are light workers, we are all kind of different light workers in different paths and different fields. So it's not a light worker better than other one,
mm-mm,
or we went through different moments and it's because this one is better than the other one. It's because you as a light worker, you're focused in what you experience, what you live, all the bad experience that you recorded in your life. That is exactly the power you have to be able to talk about what happened with a lot of entitlement. And in my case, for example, I understand very well when people goes very depressed and have a lot of anxiety because I
mm-hmm,
was kidnapped when I was 25 years old and
mm.
I was held in captivity for 90 days in the dark. So I know
Wow.
what it is to be with and be anxiety. I know how it's to be very nervous. I know how to be depressed, and also I know why my speech impediment that I have sometimes is because of that. So one thing goes with the other one, but that's why I said, like you said, God give me this path, this opportunity, this experience to be able to understand it. And when I understand it, then I'm ready to teach it because I went through. And that's what you're
Exactly.
doing. And that's what
Exactly.
Kia also doing.
Yeah.
All of us, we are doing the same thing. The main thing is you need to focus what is the area you're gonna go, and what is your path tells you what do you have to illuminate, like what kind of people you have to eliminate and put the people up.
Exactly, Gloria. Exactly. Spot on.
Mm-hmm. So I think that we have 52 minutes, ladies,
Yeah.
on the
Uh-huh.
clock. And so it's almost that time where we're going to wrap it up. But I want to say this. It's important work that you're doing, Angela. And for
Thank
Yes.
people
you.
who are in a sort of in between worlds space in their life where they have been, some people would say asleep and now they're waking up, or some people are more comfortable following along the mainstream media and then something happens where they go, maybe let me look at what used to be known as conspiracies and now they're being proven true, and like
Yes.
all sorts of things. So people that are, we'll say, curious, and
Curious.
they're at a stage in their life where they're starting to do their own investigations into things and form their own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And when these people come to you and learn this technique, it's so empowering for them to go and to propel them in the direction that they want to go in, or
Mm-hmm.
what's calling to them to go in, I should say.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and speaking to those traumas, I know that Julian, my favorite spiritual guide, would say that there are no bad experiences. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
some experiences are horrible and they feel terrible in the moment, but he always reminds me that diamonds are refined by pressure. It's the
Yes.
challenges of life that teach us. We learn through suffering. We do. That's how we learn fastest and
Yep.
best. Unfortunately, it's facts. It's facts. I
That's
mean, if
true.
you don't believe me, if you're watching right now and you don't believe me, think about all your big lessons in life when they come after, right?
And you know what, Kia? And some people don't know what is the mission. And the mission is based on your bad experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna be able to talk about it and to say, hey, I went through this and this is how I
I
feel. I went through
survived
this
it.
and this is what I did. So bad experience are good experience.
I
It's
mean,
true.
sometimes it takes us a long time to heal from them, but my
Yes.
God, when we are healed and we are ready to help others heal, it's an
Yeah.
amazing thing.
It's very
So
powerful.
that's that.
Absolutely.
Angela, will you tell us everywhere that we can find you, please?
Yes. Well, okay. So you have my website, angelaleeds.com.
Yes.
You can also go to pushbreathing.com. So
Mhm.
if somebody forgets my name, but they remember the push, just
Push,
pushbreathing.com.
push,
Push,
push.
push breathing. You'll find
Push
me there.
breathing.
And I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I am Breathing Angela at both Instagram and Twitter. Breathing Angela. And I think that's the place. If you go to my website, also you can find click my social media links there. What else? What else? Do I have everything covered? That's basically it. Yeah.
Wow.
So I just want to say thank you so much for coming and being a guest, Angela. This is such a wonderful technique. The minute I saw it coming to life, I was like, wow, this is incredible. I want to know how to do it and I want to share it with everybody. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kia. Thank you so much, both of you, for having me on. If you come to angelaleeds.com, you can click on push breathing, or you just go push breathing. It'll take you right to the push breathing page. You can put your email in, and within a minute, you'll get a link. Brand new as of today, you'll get that free masterclass. It's 35 minutes, and it's going to teach you the basics of push breathing. And at that pushbreathing.com page, you can also find my 6 module training program if you want to take it deeper. And I'm offering it at a really low price right now. I expect in a couple of weeks it's going to go. I'm gonna put it up at a more market rate. But so right now, if you're interested, go check it out.
yeah, I
That's
recommend.
awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
So, Angela, thank you so much to be in Hot Topics today. And I'm probably going to contact you to help me and to try the breathing techniques. And also, I want to invite you to the bilingual show, The Gloria, where I talk about only depression, anxiety, and PTSD.
Oh my
And I
God.
know a lot of people need this,
Oh,
like
I
me.
would just be
So
delighted. You
it will
tell me
be
when.
it would be nice to work together to see how I feel, and then we can transcribe this to in our show and tell the experience that we have together working together.
I think that sounds great. And I'll tell you one last thing, Gloria, that I have, as I said, there are like 8 or 9 different use cases. And I created I created all these cute little videos, all these videos. It was all of the ones that had to do with anxiety, depression, despair, and overwhelm. Those were the ones that people commented on. Those were the ones that people responded to. And I
Yes.
think that's really where the need is right now. And I totally get it.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, with
Yeah.
everything going on in the world and
Yeah.
how long it's taking for things to evolve from the
Oh
place
my
that
God.
we're in, there's a lot of people, we say it all the time on this show, there's a lot of people for the first time in their life going to have PTSD. There's a lot
Yes.
of people
Yes.
for the first time in their life are going to have anxiety after
Yeah.
having had this experience, even now and whenever it ends. So
Yeah.
these kinds of techniques and the people that we're bringing on with the knowledge that they have are bringing brought here to help people like and during this time, especially because it's necessary. It's what we
Mhm.
do. Like we said in the beginning of the show, we come with our authenticity, but we also come with value that we want to give to the global community. And
Oh
again, I just
yes.
want to thank you so much for coming and sharing and being a part of that. And I love when a good collab comes together. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
Thank
Absolutely
you
you
on
so much,
delighted.
Angela.
Thank you.
We will
Thank
talk.
you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye to both of you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Ciao.
Ciao.
Yes, and I am going to put you in the green room right now. If you have time to wait for us,
I
please wait
shall.
for us.
I shall.
If
I shall.
not, then we'll understand. But
I
I'll
will
see you
wait.
then.
Good.
Right.
Okay, my dear. See you later. My
Wow,
goodness.
that
That was
was awesome.
fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Kia,
Yeah.
you mentioned something that before when we was gonna about to finish the conversation with Angela, that
Yeah.
a lot of people was gonna feel PTSD and depression and anxiety for the first time with the situation that we are in. And
Yeah.
remember in last year when I tell you my project about depression and anxiety PTSD and my podcast and my show, and
Yes.
when I came out with that topic, Brian Rose said, "Wow, that is awesome. talking about depression and anxiety, PTSD.
Remember.
Wow, Gloria, you are so brave to talk about that. It was like a very taboo conversation about depression, anxiety, PTSD. That was last year. And now everybody wants to know about that because there's a lot of problems right now.
Yeah, and it's not I don't foresee it getting better anytime soon,
No,
unfortunately,
no.
because there's going to be several evolutions of everything that's going on, right? And everything that we're dealing with as we process through all of this time and everything that we go through, right? So we're going to have to process emotions. We're going to have to go through all these things.
Yes.
And there are many, many of us that have been dealing with these situations that
Hmm.
are more used to it that may get worse. And there are people who are dealing with it for the first time, you know? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and we're here for it.
So we are depression, anxiety gangs.
We're warriors. You know me. I'm all about it. We're gonna just kick some ass and take names and help as many people as we can
Yeah.
along the way.
They can say anxiety, here we are. Depression, here we are.
What you got,
PTSD,
honey?
here
What's
we
wrong?
are.
Send
Fi-
us a message with your
right.
problem, and we'll find someone for the show to come help you with it because we got it like that. We just do.
Yeah, fibromyalgia, here we are.
We got them. If we don't got them, I know somebody who's got them for you, honey.
Oh
Don't worry about
yes.
a thing. I
No,
got
yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know that it's late where you are and cold,
Yes.
and I'm so happy that you could still come and hang out, even though you're on vacation and you're in where are you? New Hampshire?
New
Yeah.
Hampshire still.
You're
Tomorrow I'm going to New York, but in the mountains.
wow. When are you going home? This is a long
I
vacation.
think I'm gonna be on the 20.
Wow, what a fantastic vacation. Okay, I can't wait to see where you're at next week then. This is an adventure for me too.
Next week, tomorrow I'm going to a house that have 100 years old. So imagine how many people live in that house.
Oh my God, it's gonna have if it has
Ghosts.
a ghost in it, just give it love. I'm telling you, that's what works. Give it
Yeah.
love and light, and
Yeah.
it'll be nice. I'm telling you. Ask Julian. Anyway, that's going to be fun. I can't wait to hear the stories and see your Instagram stories. If you
Yeah.
want to follow Gloria on Instagram, where can they follow you at, honey?
They can follow me on Instagram, Gloria Gold 1111,
I have that
and
here.
in Facebook, Gloria Goldberg. And every day I talk about whatever comes into my mind. Sometimes I wake up and say a lot of shit, and sometimes I wake up very inspired, or sometimes I wake up saying whatever. So I'm very into a very free spiritual person, a free soul that I like to talk about whatever comes through my mind. You like it or
Mm.
not?
Well, I like it, especially if I'm going to talk to you that much because you're on vacation. I get to check in and see what you're doing on your stories. So I always have fun with that because I never know what's going to be on for real, though.
You said yesterday that you wake up like a right away to see where the water
As
ritual.
soon as I open my eyes, I went on. And you're not supposed to do that. Like, I try not to get on social media like first thing in the morning, but I
Right,
knew you
right.
were going to do the ritual. So I had to see what it was going to be. And let me tell you, when I saw you pull out that drum, I about pissed myself. I was laughing so hard. I was like, why is she that wild? There's a big ass drum. I love it. Anyway, I love it so much, and I think that the cold water ritual is amazing. So,
Yeah, it is.
and anyways, you guys, you can catch us next week. We'll be back on Wednesday with another amazing guest for you, and I think it's Killian Harrington, who does the cold water, and he does a lot of stuff. So that should
Oh
be.
my God.
He's
Yes.
a very posh fellow, so that should be an interesting conversation. He has unique energy.
It is.
So I'm looking forward to that. And follow us on Instagram at Hot Topics the Podcast. And you can follow me at Creativity if you want to see my microblogs and my positive messages I put out. If you're a child that grew up in a dysfunctional household and you want tips and strategies for how to thrive in life, even though it might be a little bit later, might be your second act, then you might want to follow me. I give a lot of those out there too.
Yes.
And let's see what else. Oh, set your notifications. So in case we pop up live, you will see and you can join the fun. We love to get your live comments. And if you're watching on YouTube, share, like, and subscribe. And if you are feeling this show, I know many of you watch it in the replay. Most people do, actually. So if you catch it in the replay and you really like Hot Topics, share it with your friends and family. Tell people about us, right?
And tag replay so we know you watched the
Yeah,
replay.
and put a comment and then use the hashtag replay in the comments, and then we'll know you watch it through the replay, and maybe we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. So
Yeah.
we check our comments. We love our comments and messages. We appreciate you. And with
Yes.
that, I think we should say goodnight.
Yeah, we have to say goodnight.
I'm Kia
So
Baker, host of the Female Veterans Podcast and Women Warrior Stories for the Veterans channel. Stay tuned for that one, as well as success coach at London Real Academy. And I am joined by the most extraordinary woman on the planet.
thank
Period.
you. Thank you for that. Thank you. You're so beautiful. Thank you. Well, I'm Gloria Goldberg, the founder of the podcast Unbreakable Life with Glory, where I talk about depression, anxiety, PTSD in a holistic way, a natural way for always to make you feel better. And also, I'm the host and the founder of the bilingual show, The Gloria, where I talk about depression, anxiety, PTSD, one Friday in Spanish, one Friday in English. But because Gloria is the founder and the host of that show is in vacation, well, the bilingual show is in vacation.
Because we do what we want. It's the internet.
Exactly, exactly. So I will come back at the end of October with more surprises.
Awesome. And apparently Angela leads. I can't wait for
Yes,
that
yes,
one.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
we'll say goodnight to you guys. Have an amazing
All
evening
right,
and
guys.
see you next week.
Thank
Love you
you. Bye
guys.
bye.
Bye.